Okay, so on Facebook I got requested to make a haynet tutorial. This is my haynet, how I make them. There are probably a dozen other haynet tutorials on YouTube, but this is how I make my haynets. And I make them out of yarn, but you can probably make them out of whatever you happen to have that's a cord kind of material, or string, or whatever. It's probably best if you have two different colors. It's easier to see. You can have just one color. You can have 3 colors. You want to start by cutting out 3 strings of each color. Fairly long strings, because you'll be doubling them over. And you'll want to have room to tie, because you'll be tying them in little knots. Make sure to cut the strings fairly evenly, so both colors end up being about the same length. And once you've done that, you need to attach these all together. You can just tie them in a knot. And really what you want to do is try and have your colors so that you have two of each color beside each other. Alright. So basically, this is what I did. I start out by tying little knots. Do this one-handed, like this. That kind of a knot. With each of your pairs of 2 of the same color. Right up against the base, so that they all stay together where they're supposed to. But that's what you kind of want it to look like. And then, in order to start making your net, you want to measure out a kind of a small length and start tying alternating colors together a little ways away from your base, but only the colors right next to each other. Once you've done that, you should end up with this kind of a star shape. Try to notch them as evenly out from the base as you can. This will make your haynet kind of roundish, hopefully. Now these are going to be your smallest loops, so your next ones should be bigger. When you tie them, they should be farther out. You can make them as big or as small as you want, but it's probably better if they're a little bit bigger than these. And then just continue tying all the way around. And the knots are just the same overhand kind of knot. I'm trying to do it one-handed. I'm sorry guys, it's hard to show, but it's just a loop like that. And then just pull this string through like that. Get that string out of the way. Just simple knot. And then you just move it to wherever you want and then pull it tight. After this step is done, you should start seeing it kind of turning round. Starting to look a little bit like a net. Keep on tying those knots until you get it as deep as you want it. Be sure and tie only the strings that are next to each other. Not the strings you just tied, but like this string and this string are next to each other. So I would tie them together. That's why it helps to have 2 different colors, because you can tell. When you've gotten it as long as you want to put in your hay. I use this fake grass stuff that I get at the craft store, because it's fairly clean. It looks like hay, and I don't know, it's nice. You can also use yarn, you can use string, you can use cardboard, I guess, and whatever you happen to have. Just, don't get in too much trouble. To finish off my haynets, I tie the top strings into loops, and then trim the excess edge, and make a string to thread through the loops. This is where it gets tricky because you have to thread them all in order. Once you get all the way back around, tie a slip knot, which is really kind of tricky to do one-handed. There. Leave it kind of loose so that you can pull it tight. Well, not too tight, but then whenever you want to like take your hay out, you can loosen it and then open up your loops and take your hay out. It's not totally gorgeous, it's not live show quality, but I guess if you're taking a hay net to a live show, you might want to make it out of something other than yarn. I guess. I don't know why you would do that, but yeah. Whatever. There's the hay net. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial.